started. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know the parking situation is not the most ideal, so I appreciate those of you who had to deal with that, and then also there's several of you that traveled quite a ways to come down here and check it out. But my name is Jarrod Schoenecker. I am part of MajorLeagueStorms.com. I'm sure some of you I know through the internet. This is the first time I'm meeting a lot of you face to face, so if I don't personally remember your name, don't take offense to it. I'm awful with names. So, but anyhow, let's go ahead and get started. Kind of nice to talk about severe weather as opposed to snow. So I think a lot of people will enjoy this and get something out of it. First up, we got Jarrod. Is it Schoenecker? Probably should have asked you that. Schoenecker. Okay. Jarrod from the Twin Cities is going to do a little presentation here. Inside your folders, there should be an outline of exactly how we're going to go about this. So if you haven't seen that yet, make sure you take a look. We got 2 presentations, and then we'll take a short break, and then 2 more presentations after that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Not really a huge crowd tonight, so not a big deal. If you feel like we're working something out, that's fine. So yeah, go ahead, Jarrod.
Thanks, Jeremy. All right, so I'm going to kind of rush through this. I'm going to give you guys a choice tonight here. I'm going to talk about severe weather in southern Minnesota, because I figured that's where you are and this is what affects you. So a little bit about me to start things off. I've been a storm chaser for about 16 years. I've been a scouring spotter for about 10. I'm also the newsletter editor for the Twin Cities Meteorological Society. I do operate my own website called wallcloudchaser.com. You can go there, you can catch me on YouTube, follow me on Twitter or Facebook if you like. I don't keep on my Facebook too much, but Twitter and YouTube definitely I do. So where are we going to? This is where your choice comes in. You can either cover an event in Goodhue County with less video, which I find less exciting, but the story behind it is really good. Or we can go to Scott and Rice County from last year, an event that almost set a precipitable water reading record. It was actually 1/100th off of that. For those of you who don't know what precipitable water index is, basically it measures a column of air from top to bottom and says how much water is in there. There's a lot of water that day, lots of flooding. So, show of hands, who would like to see the Goodhue County? Okay. And who would like to see the Rice County and Scott County? Okay, we'll go to the second one here. So I'll breeze through the first one just really quick so you guys get a glimpse at some of that stuff. And lastly, Mankato, Minnesota. There's a supercell that happened in 2012 here in a second. Some of you might remember that. Okay, this particular one for Goodhue County, this is the first one here. Basically what happened here is there was 2 lines of storms that came through. Severe thunderstorm watch was issued about 2:45, and one thunderstorm went through about 4 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock. And in between that, people let down their guard, didn't realize the watch was still up. None of them had a weather radio, and that's a lot of people were caught outside and off guard. And we'll just take a look at some of the damage here. This did cause major flooding in this general city area too. That's the Cannon River, Cannon Falls, or Little Cannon River. If you're familiar with that area, it doesn't normally look like that. The previous night it was up about 4 to 6 feet higher than that. Road washed out. Barn destroyed. This whole family's farmstead here was basically demolished. The gentleman that was in this trail here was transported to the hospital, was still there the next day. A friend that came by and was videotaping. Don't know what happened to him after that, but he was severely hurt. All right, we're up to the good stuff now. Okay, Rice County, Scott County, Minnesota. Okay, July 13th last year. Okay, lots of rain. The highest number that was recorded was 8.3 inches in a 24-hour period just north of Newmarket, Minnesota, just south of the cities, if you don't know where that is. That was a once in a 200-year event by current records. Bulk of the rain kind of came overnight. Started raining somewhere around 2:30 or so. But the general core of it really happened from about 3:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes dropping over 1.5 inches, an hour to 2 inches. PWAT, this is the precipitable water index I was talking about. Twin Cities measured 2.39 inches. That was only 0.06 inches less than the all-time record ever recorded in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Okay. There were some houses evacuated, not many. Mostly the ones that were evacuated were due to overland flooding. In other words, flooding that is not from a creek bed or otherwise a body of water. This is ponding on top of land. And what happened in this scenario, which we'll see in a little bit, there's a railroad that goes through by Dundas, Minnesota, and it was acting as a dike. It really wasn't culverted properly. To my knowledge, they haven't done anything to remedy this. I don't think anybody's really addressed it. The water tried to go down its natural tributaries, but it couldn't. And you'll see the aftermath of that. As well, 35 and 19, they're both underwater for a short period of time. There's some video from that as well. This is the rainfall amounts, estimated by radar and corrected with spotter reports that are on the ground. You can see Scott County here, basically from about New Mankato, which is about there, down to Nurse Strand, Northfield area, received the highest amount of water. The whole general area received over about 2 inches though, with a good chunk of the area receiving more than 4 to 6. There's a search and rescue going on in Dundas. This is part of this overland flooding area we're going to look at here to start with. Homeowners actually had to be rescued by boat. That's one of the houses. To the left of this, there's an area that extended back about a quarter to a half mile that was full of water, estimated to be about 20 feet deep at some point. Make note of this picture. You see one car in the photo right now. When you see the aftermath, you'll see how many others show up. There's kind of the backflow, but you can see how the railroad was acting as a dike. Same road, just on the other side of that house. This is what most of the roads look like within Rice County, parts of Scott County. I did see a few trucks go through this. I should have had my camera out at the time. Wasn't quite prepared for that. Actually, I did see semi go through in the back part of this as well too. Something you never want to do, and I'll show you why in a few moments. This is downtown here. They were sandbagging at Froggy Bottoms, popular destination in Northfield. They had water in their basement already, I think at 6 o'clock, they said. There's that house again. We got the red car on the right. That's the one you could see. And there's 1, 2, 3, and I believe there was one in the garage too. When I talked to the homeowner's father, he said the house wasn't insured for flood, and he only had full insurance on 2 of the cars. So it was a total loss for him. He was living with his parents after that for a while, as far as I know. We got a video here if you want to press play on that. This is what conditions look like in the county. Oh, gotta go back one. Gotta press play on the bar. There you go. And turn the AV volume up on the wall. That's Highway 19 there, right at I-35. Not sure about you, but I wouldn't have driven that truck through that. Highway 19, and this is in Dundas, just next to Northfield. Saw a statistic the other day when I was looking through stuff. 39% of deaths from flooding happen driving through it. I'm not quite sure on the number on walking through, but I know it's around 15 to 20% people die from walking through flooded water. So both bad ideas I saw there. field here. This is not a record high crest or anything for them. They're the tributaries that go into that weren't fed quite enough. If that system had moved a little bit further to the west and the south, it probably would have been. I know the water had been a few feet higher than that historically a couple of times. This homeowner here, to the house that was on the right there, had a boat, but it was stored in a understorage under his house there, where his garage there. So he had that out and had better luck than being rescued from a boat cartel. All right, we're gonna play this video too. This here is the reason why you should not drive into flooded waterways. Even when you think you know it. Watch as he goes along, it gets a little hard with the precept on the windshield. You're gonna see a cop off to the right. Now the cop's just observing what's going on. Why he's not blocking the intersection, I'm not sure. Probably wasn't directed by his dispatcher to do so. There he is. Now it looks like there's a road off to the right here, right? Well, let's find out. Nope. No road. The person this happened to is Chris Novy. He's also a storm chaser. He works in emergency management. He should have known better. He said that afterwards. And what happened to him was very much a dictum of life or death. When he went under like that, he actually got pulled through the culvert in the car and carried a couple hundred yards down. Then, with his car full of water and still in the turbulent water, he had to try and get out. Now, being a storm chaser, we have good ideas in our head about doing certain things, like let's put protective film on our windows so hail doesn't break it. It's a great idea for hail. What happens when you need to get out of the car though when it's flooded? That's a dilemma he faced. Now, would I still recommend maybe doing that if you're a storm chaser yourself? Maybe, but maybe just the windshield. He was fortunately able to get out of the car after holding his breath for about a minute and a half. But then he was stuck in the water. And if it wasn't for that police officer sitting there, he might have died. He was on his last breath, he said, by the time that the police officer was able to pull him out of the water. So, that turnaround don't drown thing, yeah, it's a good idea. Unless you're absolutely certain 100% nothing can happen to you, it's not worth it. All right, a little bit lighter period here, okay? This is your Mankato case for you. Now, this particular week, we had a series of storms on a stall warning front that came through May 1st through the 3rd, 2012. It's pretty active, been a lot of chasers in the area, a lot of spotters that were active, and generally it's a populated area. So, I don't know if Jack, were you here at that time?
No, not at this
Not
point.
yet. But I'm sure local media was probably covering it as well too, so the public was probably pretty well aware. We didn't have a lot of followers that day, which kind of surprised me. A lot of times when you're chasing out, let's see, people that are interested in chasing out there, not really knowing what they're looking at. But we did help eliminate a lot of false reports that day and issuing proper reports, just because there were so many observations that there were tornado warnings issued before Mankato, and then up to over Mankato. And then there was a period of time where we didn't have any because there were so many spotters there, and we could tell it wasn't what was happening in the ground. There's no tornadoes, but severe thunderstorm, yes. Largest hail report, 2.5 inches. That was just north of Mankato, I believe, near to the airport. Average range 1 to 1.25. There's a lot of drifting by because it did hail in some areas for up to 5 to 7 minutes, so which is fairly large amount of time. Minor flash flooding, no big deal. Very little wind damage reported that day. Setup. There was an upper level disturbance. Basically, upper level low that came out of Colorado, jetted right up into southern Minnesota, right where the jet stream was. That warm front. And the real thing that allowed it to happen that day was the clear skies, right? Daytime heating. This is the depiction of the temperatures in the color area. Mankato's about there, so we had sufficient heating. This area down in Hawaii, you can tell where I'm going right now. This area down in Iowa here did have rain in the morning and was plagued with cloud cover, so that's why the temps are so low there. But the dew points, this is fairly relative. They were a little bit higher than 61 in the area. That's a visible satellite. The first image, you can kind of see this clear slot. That's the warm front plane out here. And then this is initiation, the first storm that went up, which is just west of Mankato. That's the cell that used to be this one right here. And there's another one there. They have overshooting tops on them. It's a little bubble on the top. And that's the core of the storm. So very mature, robust storms. I'm going to go ahead and play this animation real quick. This is a general look at the radar. You can see that upper level disturbance come in. Right there. Just kind of follow that. Looks like it disappears and then bam, near the storms. And they go off. Watch it one more time. Okay. Let's go ahead and play this next animation for me. This is the local radar here, GR Level 3 program used for decoding radar information. Now if you notice there's a secondary warm front that comes in right down here. And it merges right on that boundary, basically right over Mankato, which is where my cursor is at the moment. Notice the hook on the back. Now this is about 3,000 or 4,000 feet in the air from where the radar is sitting anyways. And so I'm curious to see what it looks like on the ground, which we'll show you what it looks like on the ground in a second, but they issue tornado warnings based on that. They merge here. This one's got a hook in here as well as here. Creates a new one, still a little bit of junk in there. There's a new hook echo after they're joined there. So a tornado would be, if it wasn't going to go over, it would attract basically right over Mankato. It's a dangerous situation. All right, go ahead and play this one. All right. This was the storm prediction outlook for the day. Until they put a moderate risk out for further south, and there were tornado reports further south. Those are the red dots on the bottom. And you can see all the hail reports and a few wind reports in here. Not very many, but that's where that line tracked. It was pretty defined. Okay, first position. This is where I was basically. I was about right here. Mankato is here. That's about where I was. So this first one we look at, that's what I was looking at. That's what it looks like on the ground. Okay, let's show the video of that real quick. It's in real time, and then we're going to go to time lapse in a second here just to see the motion on that storm a little clearer. You can see from the video there's not really, there wasn't really much rotation going on there. They still had tornado warning out because it was general rotation within the storm we had. And being a populated area, I'm sure that was a safe practice for them. This is my second position, 5:20 p.m. I had moved a little bit further north. I'm somewhere in this vicinity right here. That's what it looked like on the ground there. Let's go ahead and watch a video of that one. Same thing here, this will switch over to time lapse again. It's what we call a wall cloud, by the way. If you don't know what this is. Wall cloud, inflow. Back of the storm, typically. All right, my third position at 533. It's not a fast-moving storm. Where's Mankato? Right here. I am somewhere right around here. This is the hook here. This is the area we're going to be looking at again. This next one, it's a little closer look for you. Soul starting to emerge. That's what it looks like on the ground. This showed the best signs of getting greater rotation. What I had overhead here, it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but extending out from here, you can imagine what we call inflow bands. There's actually air streaming in and condensing as it was coming into the storm. And so this whole area was rotating. Not extremely rapidly, but it was. I'll go ahead and play that one. You see in real time, there's not a lot of motion going on there. You watch it long enough, you'll see, but this will switch over to time lapse as well. That bright area to the left, that's what we call a clear slot as chasers. It's cold, dry air coming around the backside of the storm. Okay, we're going to take a look at what it looked like on the other side of the storm before we go to the last video of this. On the left side, these are echo tops. Echo tops measure where the top of the storm is in elevation. This was in the 40,000 foot range. On this side, this is digitally vertically integrated liquid. In other words, what's the density of the matter that's in that cell, basically. And so this is Mankato. Okay. Look at how dense that mass is right there. That's probably the hail core, and it is. It's going to play this video. I found this video on YouTube, contacted the guy, it's the one I found of some unique hail footage from that day. And this goes over, of course, about 7 minutes or so, which I've condensed down. There's a lot of bad elements here. Number one, the mobile home, being not in shelter. The under tornado warning at the time, bad idea. And you'll see the next bad idea after this. Notice the hail building in the ground. Best I can tell, it's about 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches at most. Well, look at what's going on here. This is a street out front, which has now turned into a river of hail and water. Now, I know which neighborhood this is in. There's a trailer park that's kind of northeast of Mankato between here and the airport. That's where this happened. Was he probably okay? Probably, I don't know. But again, this is some minor flash flooding there. That'd be something you have to know your surroundings very well and decide whether or not you should be out there. Really, you should have been in a shelter so we wouldn't have had this video. My last position, here's Eagle Lake, this Mankato. I was sitting about right here at the tip of this hook echo. A little closer look there. Cells are pretty much merged at this point. And this is the point where I did see tornadic type action. I don't think we had enough energy that day. I believe the Cape levels were right around 1,000, somewhere around there. Just not enough moisture probably to push it up as hard as it needed to be to really produce a tornado. But you are going to see a very vague funnel in this. So, and if you look here, this is storm relative velocity, or what rotation of the storm. So when you see red and green right next to each other, like right here, this area along in here all has some indication of some rotation there. It's not real strong. And let's go like that. too far, try it. We're going to be looking, it's kind of off on this side, and I'll blow that up in a little bit, but it is going around here. Contrast is a little hard to see, especially with the projector. But I had a small funnel going there. Not very well organized, but that tornado warning was definitely well verified here. Pull out again there. I did have areas of rotation behind me from that other cell coming in as well. There were some feeder bins coming into that as well too. It's just hard to pick up because I'm right next to it, so you can real wide angle lens or something like that. I wish we could hear this a lot because I actually did this. The tornado sirens from Eagle Lake were going off at the time, and I was happy to hear that. Very much so. They're not far away. They were very loud, probably because the wind was coming in my direction. So I hope that helped aid some people take some shelter that day. This would go on for a few more minutes, but what are we doing on time, Jeremy?
I think we're about to the
Question portion?
yeah.
It's good timing. Well, that's it, my presentation here, since we're running out of time. If anybody has some questions they'd like to ask me, by all means, feel free to go ahead here. Don't all jump at once yet. How long have you been doing this? How long have I been doing this? Past 16 years. Yep. How many what? I've seen a handful of tornadoes. This is one thing in the chaser community that I really dislike. It is the holy grail to go out and see a tornado. That's one of my objectives. I like all types of severe weather. And so if I got a good shelf cloud day, or a day where I can see big hail, I want to do that. And I also like to follow up with the people aspect. I like to teach lessons to people through things like tonight. That's why I'm here. So my tornado numbers aren't high, but that's because I don't always go out for that. I go out for events that I think I can see something that will look unique from nature. Wall cloud, yes. Exactly.
What's the name of that structure? Is that a round thing with the air going up in the middle of it?
I think you're talking about, that was a wall cloud that we looked at, if that's what you're referencing.
It looked circular.
Yes.
You see the horizon is like this big circular thing with the inside going up in the middle of it.
Yes, that is the inflow of the thunderstorm, which is why you see, what looks to be clouds going. It's actually warm air rising into colder air. And we call that, if that would actually be a funnel, we would call that a bowl funnel, but that's not really what it was. This was just a wall cloud.
So I've seen one of those actually over Mankato, biking up top of Mankato, north of that area. It was just a huge thing going up.
Yep.
It was pretty dramatic. It took pictures.
Yeah, they're pretty scary. Like wall clouds and shelf clouds both can be very intimidating. Shelf clouds usually scare people more than a wall cloud. And you can definitely have tornadoes that have no wall cloud at all, or that are completely wrapped in rain and never see it until it's on you. We lost some friends this year. Actually, one of the guys that's with us today, part of his crew, was involved with some of that stuff too. And it's very sad. It's just an unfortunate situation that we have encountered. Necessarily on that level. We've encountered it before, but not quite like that. And it happens. It's a risk of storm chasing. We learn as much as we can about it, and we try to mitigate all those things, making good choices about where we position ourselves and what we do and do not go. But most of us are pretty knowledgeable. Yes, Jack?
What kind of camera do you have?
I use the Sony HDR SR1, and I also have my digital SLR Canon T3i, and some other small things that are great. Yeah, I want to upgrade though, so if anybody wants to donate, by all means. In the back.
What is the widest or the strongest tornado you've ever gotten to see?
The widest or strongest, probably Salina, Kansas, in 2012, April 14th. I skipped the Minnesota Skywarn event, or Minnesota Skywarn workshop for that. And my nephew was here. How wide was that? I don't remember. It was like half mile?
It was a half mile wide.
Yeah, about a half mile wide. I think it was just a beach. We filmed for almost 20 minutes straight on it. And it took a few different shapes. And sometimes didn't have condensation. But, yeah. The town of Lonn was definitely spared that day. It was within half mile of it when it lifted. All right, I think I'll hand it back over to Jeremy now, unless we got another question yet.
Kind of dumb question. The climate change issues, talking about weather is changing because of climate change. Have you noticed anything like that where things actually look a little different as far as the trends of weather?
Funny thing you should say that. Now, I used to be a fan of climate change as a natural thing, and I still think that probably very much could be true. I did an article here 2 months ago, I think it was. And when I look back at temperature numbers from back to the 1800s, just in the Minnesota metropolitan, Twin City metropolitan area, there's a few degree change going up over that time period. Now, I don't know if that's caused with us, having emissions go out, or if that's because, it's just a natural cycle that we're in. I think that's somewhat hard for us to grasp, because we only have records so far back, and we don't know what those long-term processes are. So, but I do think we have an impact on the environment. What it means necessarily, I'm not sure. All right, appreciate your guys' time, and with that, I'll hand it over to Jeremy here as the next presentation.